friends, my name is Kaitlyn, and today I'm doing my autumn book haul. Happy first day of autumn, everyone! I wanted to ring this in with an exciting video, and I personally love to watch other people's book hauls, and I love to share the books that I've been purchasing over the course of the summer, and I wanted to go ahead and introduce this for the books that I will be consuming this fall that I've purchased, and some of them I've already read, and they're really fantastic. But I'm going to start off with As I Descended by Talley. This is a retelling of Macbeth that is set in a modern day boarding school, and it has a female-female romance and a male-male romance, and it's just really fantastic and has a really nice diverse cast. I really enjoyed how this retelling played out. I really enjoyed this retelling. It had this really nice creepy element to it that makes it perfect for autumn reading, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's really fantastic, and you should definitely pick it up. The next book that I picked up is We Love You, Charlie Freeman by Kaitlyn Greenidge, and this is a book that I've heard so many good things about, specifically great things from Joss over at Squibbles Reads. I know that she has reviewed this book in the past, and it just really made me want to read it, and then I saw it at my local used bookstore and absolutely had to pick it up and add it to my collection, and I can't wait to get to that book this autumn. As far as plot goes, I know that it follows a family that has moved to university to do a study on sign language between the family and a chimpanzee, and the family is an African American family who has moved into an all-white community, and I've heard many people say that this book discusses race really well, so I'm excited to get into that conversation and see what this book has to say about it. The next book that I picked up is Seraphina and the Twisted Staff by Beatty. I am very excited to jump into this one, especially for autumnal reading, because it is just this really nice kind of creepy middle grade book. It is the sequel to Seraphina and the Black Cloak, which I read probably about a month ago, I think, and I did really enjoy it. It's set at the Biltmore Manor, which is in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm very familiar with that area because I grew up right outside of it. I also picked up The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I picked this up because it was on a really great sale from Book Outlet, and I just couldn't pass it up because it's a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, and the trilogy just ended up being complete, so I want to go ahead and marathon through that. I did pick up the second book from Book Outlet, but unfortunately it was sold out by the time they processed my order, so I didn't end up getting it, which is really sad, but that's okay. So I did get that one. Still excited to read it, and I will just look for another sale on Book Outlet to purchase the second book and possibly the third book even. I also picked up Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by John Tiffany, Jack Thorne, and J.K. Rowling. I have read this one already. I did enjoy it. I know that it's been kind of controversial on BookTube, that some people really loved it and some people really hated it. I personally fall into the camp of people who really enjoyed it. I definitely saw some faults with it, but there was just something about the second half of the play that just added to that magical Harry Potter world that I grew up in and absolutely loved and fell in love with, so I ended up really loving it. I also picked up The Bronze Key by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This is the third book in the Magisterium series, and I am so excited to dive into this one, especially because so much plot unfolded in the last one, and we got to find out so much about the characters and where they might possibly be going in the future, and I am so excited to see that play out. I'm even more excited to read this book series now that the first book made it on the honor roll for disability in kids lit, because the main character actually does have a disability, and Disability in Kids Lit gave it a thumbs up for great representation, so I'm excited to continue on reading a series that represents disability well and respectfully. I picked up 3 more books from Book Outlet that were on a really great sale, and the first one was Under a Painted Sky by Stacy Lee. I'm currently reading this one and absolutely loving it. It is a historical fiction that follows 2 main characters who set out towards the west to try to escape different difficult situations in their past. One girl is a former slave and she escapes and she is working towards freedom, and the other girl is wanted for murder, even though the details are kind of fuzzy on that one. So they team up together and they set out west to try to find freedom and safety, and it is So good, guys. So good. Next is The Walls Around Us by Nova Suma, and I don't know much about this book. It was just on a really good sale, and the cover looks really pretty, and I've heard that it's kind of like a psychological thriller, and I thought that would be oh so perfect for autumn reading, and I'm excited to jump into this book sometime this autumn. And the last book that I picked up is The Last Leaves Falling by Sarah Benwell, and this is a book that has a main character who has ALS, and that's really the only premise that I know from the story. So far, I haven't really seen any reviews online that I could find that said whether it was good representation or bad representation, so I'm going to go into this book with a very critical eye to try to form my own opinion, and I'll definitely continue to look out for the research from the community that says whether or not it is good or bad representation, because I think it's so important when you're reading books that have diverse characters, whether they are diverse racially or their sexual orientation or with a disability. It's very important to recognize whether it's good representation or bad representation, because if you wreck that book and it's complete and utter crap, then that is damaging to the population that it's trying to represent. So, like I said, I'm going to go into that particular one with a very critical eye. And then there were some books that I received in some subscription boxes. So the first book that I want to talk about is one that I received in my uppercase box and my owl crate, and that is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I have not read this. I think I might wait a little while to read this, just because it's not at the top of my priority list as far as reading goes this autumn, but I did want to share it in my haul. And I also received P.S. I Like You by Casie. This is a contemporary that follows a main character who has kind of like a pen pal situation going with an anonymous student in her school, and I think that this is just such a cute premise, and I definitely want to get to this before the autumn weather really starts setting in, because currently the temperature outside is still kind of like the climate of hell, so I still can read a summer contemporary and feel pretty great about it. But as soon as the weather starts kicking in and gets cooled down and just feels so glorious to be outside, I'm just not going to be craving contemporaries. I don't know, maybe that's weird, but that's just kind of how my reading moods go. Maybe an occasional contemporary in there, but it has to have some meat to it. It can't be like light fluff fun stuff. Anyway, that has been it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave links in the down bar below for you guys to check out my other social media sites such as Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram. And yep, that's it. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay weird.